Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about the job duration functionality of the FSM Platform 9.1. The AI engine's job duration feature determines how long an intervention will take to complete a certain task in the field. The accurate estimation takes into account geographic characteristics, resources that are available, facility and technical object attributes, or additional information that characterize each particular work order. The job duration functionality is divided in two different algorithms. One predicts the order duration, which is the duration of the execution of the order A equals some time output, while the other one, at the same time, predicts the duration of the execution of an order for a given resource. Let's analyze now the process flow of this algorithm. Firstly, data are extracted from the FSM platform and sent to the AI module. From here, the training can begin. It starts with a reprocessing phase that leads to the heart of the process, which is the neural network. This creates an inference model that we will analyze better later on, and subsequently it creates also performance indexes. All these outputs are sent to the AI inference service, which gives us a prediction and a reliability index in response to an inference request from the platform. Now, I would like to show you in more detail how these last two steps work. Once the inference input is ready, in the inference service we can find the two models that I have previously mentioned, the task duration and the resource duration. This service sends to the platform three outputs, the two predicted by the models and the human inputted one. From here, a decision module on the platform can choose the best results according to the rules that we have defined. Now let's have a look at a quick demo. While working with the job duration prediction feature, the first thing we have to do is to create a job duration model, which will be used for the training. So we go on the main menu, AI configuration and models. On this page, we can search for models already present in the system. The two main models are necessary for a good training of the AI for the job duration are the duration and the resource duration. The first one is a decision-making logic used to predict outcome of the best duration for single activities. The latter, on the contrary, is used to predict the outcome of the best duration for a single resource. Let's take, for example, the first one. In order to create the model, it is possible to specify the feature definition, which is a JSON structure containing features used by the training phase. If the user let it empty, the GeoCall AI engine will use a default one. And the report definition, an HTML code that defines the report structure to use in the training report that we will see later. The second thing we have to do is to create training and prediction tasks. On this page, we can filter out by algorithm, by model, or by task, and we can search for previously created tasks. For the job duration section, provides the configuration of the time frame parameters for duration and duration resource. So let's take, for example, the duration algorithm for a training task. On this page, we've got information about the task, such as code, description, the algorithm, the training instance type, which is the local Amazon Web Service instance on which the AI process will be performed. And then we've got the training period, which is the time frame in months referring to the orders to be used for the training. The prediction task, on the other hand, does not require any configuration, but it is necessary to create it. The third thing we have to do is to create prediction validation rules. The prediction validation rules are actually created to check results of the duration algorithm, but only for the duration one. On this page, we can filter out by operation center, in our case Miami, and by algorithm, in our case duration 2.0. Here we've got the rules already defined, or we can also create a new rule itself by clicking on the new rule button at the end of the page. Here we have three options for the configuration. We've got the basic configuration, the absolute rule, and the gap with original duration rule. If we insert the algorithm duration point zero and if we insert the Miami Operation Center. We can also decide to activate or not the rule. So let's talk about these other two fields. The absolute rule is a rule that evaluates only AI results. For example, it checks if predicted duration is in a defined range or if the confidence is high enough. We have the activity type, which is the type of activity for which the rule will be applied. We've got the confidence threshold, which is the minimum AI threshold accepted by the system. We have the minimum duration, which is the minimum predicted duration accepted by the system, and the maximum duration, which is the maximum predicted duration accepted by the system. This other rule, on the other hand, match the AI predicted duration with the original one. For example, if the original duration is 2 hours, the AI duration can be greater than a defined threshold of 50%, so 3 hours is the maximum limit. Here also we've got the activity type, which is the type of activity for which the rule will be applied. We have the maximum gap ratio if lower, which identifies the minimum AI duration related to the original duration, and the maximum ratio if greater, which defines the maximum AI duration related to the original duration. We can only use one of these two rules. They cannot be used together. Let's go now to the daily plan and see how the job duration integrates itself with the manual scheduling. On the daily plan page, we filter out by operation center, in our case Miami, and we do a search. On the daily plan, on the schedulable activities page, we can search for schedulable activities, and then we can right click on an activity itself to see the job duration option. We can access here this page where we have the information about the order on the top. Underneath, we have the list of operation. In our case, there is only one operation for this work order. And on this page, we've got these three buttons here and these three buttons here. On the top, we can refresh all prediction for all the operation, but in our case, we only have one. Or we can refresh the prediction singularly for each operation. The original duration is reported here, the actual duration and the predicted one with the prediction status of AI duration automatic. Underneath, we've got a list of resources with a predicted duration for each resource. This is only informative, and I, as a planner, can choose, thanks to this view, to give and schedule this activity to a technician, whether instead to another. Now, let's try to do the pass with preview option. I'm going to filter out by facility type, and I'm going to use the wind turbine ones. I search for my orders. Okay, so let's try to schedule this activity to Anderson Oliver. If I use the pass with preview option on this page, we've got information about the order on the top, about the resource on the bottom, and then I click continue. On this new page, again, we've got information about the order, and then we have the actual planning, which is the agenda at this specific moment, and the preview new planning, which is the agenda if we schedule this order to this technician. Underneath, we've got this symbol. On this symbol, we can see the predicted duration for this specific resource. In this case, is 1 hour and 1 minute. So the activity execution time is going to be 61 minutes. If we want to change, we can do it manually, just deleting this value here and maybe putting 45 minutes. We simply recalculate. So the preview new planning is gonna change, and then we can decide to confirm or cancel. In our case, we confirm, and the activity is going to be scheduled. Going on the schedulable activities tab, we can find all the others that are in the state schedulable here. A new column has been added with the original duration and the predicted duration reported. In the case of these two outputs being different, for example, this one, 2 hours and 3 minutes for the original duration and 2 hours and 1 minute for the predicted duration, the system is going to use the most suitable one, so 2 hours and 1 minute. I, as a planner, can still choose to use the original duration, going here on the three dots menu and setting the original duration through this option. And again, if I want to use the predicted one and not the original one, I can do it again. Now, let's have a look how the job duration integrates itself with Optimize and Complete. Let's go on the branches of the VRP. Here we can search for our operation center, in our case it is Miami, and we've got a duration prediction flag that we can flag or not. This option allows the VRP to use the job duration algorithm while doing automatic scheduling. On the other hand, if we go to the scheduling and automatic scheduling in the model configuration, we can search by operation center and we can find here all the models present for this operation center. I'm going to take this one as an example. On this one, we've got again the duration prediction for this specific model, and then we have three different flags. Active, which means that the AI is activated, there is the duration sent for each activity will take into account the predictions made, which will obviously have already been evaluated by the rules if there are any. Not active, which means that the scheduling process behaves as if there had never been prediction, and the null state. And we go back to the field available in the operation center configuration, the one that we have just seen in the VRP. Now, another very important thing about the job duration is the dashboard. So we go to the AI menu, job duration, and dashboard. Here we can filter out by operation center, in our case Miami, and we process the diagram. The prediction dashboard allows to analyze the AI performance of the job duration algorithm. Using an histogram, it is possible to compare a work order group with a planned duration, actual duration, and predicted duration. Then the dashboard shows how much the AI correctly predicts the historical data. For each subplot, if I click here, for each subplot in the main chart, a second plot detail can be shown by clicking on the bar as I just did. Using the option section on the top here, we've got different fields such as the series type. There could be cumulative error, which is the summed errors between a counted duration, standard duration, and a counted duration, predicted duration. We have the cumulative value, which is the summed values of a counted duration, standard duration, and predicted duration. And then we have the average error, which is the average error of a counted duration, standard duration, and a counted duration, predicted duration. Then both for the main chart and detail chart, we've got a grouping type, which we can choose from operation center, activity, work order type, and team leader. And then we have a series to display, standard duration and predicted operation duration. We can process different diagrams depending on the type of dashboard that we want to process. The grouping cannot be the same for the main chart and the detail chart. So for example, is the average error one. Now, let's have a look at the elaboration history. Getting back to the AI, we go to elaboration history and we search. We can filter out by model, by algorithm, or by elaboration interval. Here we've got, so I'm gonna filter out my model for the duration one. Here we've got different elaborations of tasks, predictions, and training. Let's have a look at the training one. Perfect. Here we have four options. The parameters configuration, where it's possible to view information about the executed tasks. The detailed training report, where it's possible to download an Excel file with all calculated experiences between resources and activities. Then the log, where it's possible to download a TXT file to do a debug in case of a failed outcome. And then the training report, which different aspects of the training process are available for consultation and that we are going to see right now. On the training report is a HTML file that it is downloaded on the computer. And here we've got the following section. We've got the error analysis diagram, which displays the expected improvement in terms of fewer accumulated errors. It is related to the validation dataset, which is not used in the training phase, but only for monitoring purposes. The figure displays the difference between the error when using the data available in the system in gray and the one made by the machine learning model in comparison with the debriefed datum. In this case, the gray column shows the cumulative absolute error between the standard duration and the actual duration, and the orange column shows the cumulative absolute error between predicted duration and actual duration. We've got the future ranking diagram, and here we can consult the most relevant and impacting training features according to the algorithm. For example, as regard to this job duration, we've got the standard duration as a very important feature. Then we have the training data, where the model quality indicator is present. We display information on the training algorithm, such as the dataset sizing, the running time and training quality based on the data provided. And then we have the following chart, which determines the usefulness of input data in properly trained model. If the marker is set on average, for example, it means that the data are not new and the training shall be repeated. Let's have a look now at detailed training report. The detailed training report is an Excel file that consists in the analysis of data of our tasks. On the summary, it is simply a bio of the task that we have just considered. Then we have the operation center, which contains information regarding any possible errors that might occur using the AI for each operation center. And these errors are then divided in standard error and model error, which are shown in terms of minutes. We also have a percentage of improvements in the operation center with respect to previous data. Then on the team page, we have information regarding any possible error that might occur using the AI for each team. As above, these errors are then divided in standard error and model error, and which are shown as again in terms of minutes. And we also have a percentage of improvement for each team with respect to previous data. On the order type page, we have information regarding any possible errors that might occur using the AI for each order. As above, these errors are then divided in standard error and model error in terms of minutes, and an improvement is present even for this type of analysis. Thank you so much for your time and consideration. You should now be able to use the job duration functionality, and I hope to see you all soon. Thank you.